When I was thinking about this book and when I was writing it, one of the things that really stuck in my mind was what my mother had said to me when, before I was out on the streets, where she told me, "I can no longer help you, you're now in Hanuman's hands." Hanuman, the monkey god of the Ramayana, and this idea that he watches over all of us. And there's no other explanation for me for how did I survive. In Hanuman's hands is as honest and as true an account of my life, my experience. For the most part, I'd say that growing up, I had the best kind of upbringing that a person could have in terms of parents provided for everything. They had a sense of India from the 60s that they tried to bring over, and it didn't transport well into America. And so there's a huge collision, a huge clash that erupted within me, which was the perfect student, never any problems, and with me busting out of my parents' house, breaking into people's homes, burning a house down. And so then I went off to college still at war with myself. Once I started to get involved with drugs, it was that war just became fully realized and manifested in myself, and I wasn't able to be in control. I loved the drugs, and then I'm trying to sell them as well. And it's at that point when I started to deal a lot more and I started to come across guys that had mafia connections. That's that transition that occurred between that kid that was in high school who could do no wrong to the person who could do no right. When I left school and went on the streets, I vanished from the world. Nobody could find me, nobody could keep in contact with me unless I called or contacted them. And honestly, I'd rather stay high than keep in touch with anybody. The one guy that I'd say most got me through the streets was a guy named Tav. We were really good friends. I was there when we were getting drugs, when he got knifed right in front of me. And it's an image that I can't ever let go of. I mean, it still haunts me. At that point, I felt truly and completely alone. He was like the last vestige of real human contact that I'd had. And with his death, I had nothing, I had nobody. I didn't even know who the hell I was anymore. One of the things that In Hanuman's Hands does is when it explores the issues of drugs, sex, and crime, doesn't settle for the easy answer. I dug into areas of myself that it was horribly difficult to dig into in order to write this with truth and honesty. And I think that any reader that sees that will feel it in a way that they might not have seen in any other book.
As I lay in the hospital bed, my mind afloat on the chemical sea, drifting between the shores of my world and the transcendent, I realized that the drugs gave me the power to hear the divine in the way my ancestors had. I would need to find a God that would forgive me. It took me years, but I finally found one in Chicago, in an alley behind a taqueria.